questioning.
Maybe I'm tripping. But because I do hear a good point. And it's like, yeah, this isn't equals. It's a balance of power. But here's the problem about that balance of power. Where's the balance of power when it comes to the budget? Then, like, where's the balance of power there? Because it kind of sounds like college, like they have, like, honestly, undenied power. Like nobody can stop them to do what they want to do. When Congress want to spend money, they can spend money however way they want it. So, I mean, and think about it, the way our tax dollars have been used is kind of been proven by that. Y'all say it's public information, but all these payments been going right up underneath our noses for a while now. So I would say this is like, all right, cool. The president's not supposed to have, undeniable power or just, dictator-like power. But I mean, damn, it's almost like, Congress got dictator-like power over our budget. And if that's the case, maybe we need to, allocate the authority of the budget. Maybe 50% should go to this part of the government, 50% go to this part and this part, but not just one part of the government control the whole damn pot.
Well, what is Elon doing? He's going to go group by group, piece by piece, and start tackling all the waste and fraud. So the fact that you haven't seen the full scope of it yet is only because we're just getting started with this.
Right, and Brianna, I would say that what is clear is that the American people on this issue, on Doge, and the waste that's being exposed, they are in a big majority right behind the administration. So there are other polls that show them not as confident about other things, but on Doge, that seems to be a very popular thing.
I'm really glad my co-panelist pointed out that Social Security is next, and polls show that Republican voters also are overwhelmingly opposed to cuts to Social Security. The majority of Americans rely on Social Security to keep their elderly parents and relatives and loved ones.
We're not against Social Security. We're not trying to take money out of old people's and people with disabilities' hands. You guys are tripping and you're fear mongering. What we are trying to do is cut the wasteful spending in Social Security. Bro, if we cut the wasteful spending in Social Security, that could help better these Americans' lives. Like, hey, yo, you're on Social Security. Look, we found some wasteful spending. We got an extra $500 for y'all a month, an extra $1,000 a month. And that may not sound like a lot, but when it's extra, that could be life changing. I'm gonna be real with you. It can happen like that. So it is a bit crazy how y'all don't want us to go in there and fix Social Security for our elderly and disabled. I thought y'all was for them. I mean, this would be the quickest way to help these people out is to get rid of all the wasteful spending and up their rates, not their rates, but up their payments. If you really cared.
From living on the street, and not to mention Medicaid, Medicare, these are some of the most popular policies in America that even Trump understands it's bad politics to put them on the chopping block. And that's why he ran away from those policies in the Bartolomeo Fox News interview just this week. But the reality is that that's exactly what he's going for. And the numbers that have been articulated by the Trump administration and Elon Musk for what he anticipates in terms of budget cuts cannot happen without significant cuts to programs exactly like Social Security. And this is why the earlier point that was made about millionaires and billionaires. I'm sorry, if I could just finish this point without interrupting.
Here's the problem, though, sweetheart. It's like somebody got to interrupt you because you're just talking on and on and on and on, but nothing that you're saying is really factual or you can't back it. It's like you're saying that we're trying to cut Social Security, but you're ignoring the fact that, no, we just said we're trying to cut the wasteful spending out of Social Security. We're trying to cut the fact that there are Social Security numbers that have been recycled, reused to make it seem like, bro, there are people that is getting Social Security payments that are like 250 years old, 100 plus years old. Last time I checked, bro, we're not that healthy of a country to be having that much people out here 100 years old getting payments, kicking it. Last time I checked, hey, RDF, my man RFK Jr. ain't work his magic yet.
This is why the earlier point about millionaires and billionaires who are running this government and why it is that we should be concerned about it is so germane. There was a 2014 Princeton study that showed that there is no relationship between what Americans want, what voters articulate in polls, and what actually gets passed in Congress, whether it's a Democratic Congress or a Republican Congress. And the reason is because oligarchs, billionaires have captured our government through lobbyists. There was a question.
Okay, great. But you weren't saying that under Biden, though. It matters under Trump. Like, all right, cool. Well, I can get down with that. If y'all just want to admit that both sides are controlled by this hidden oligarchy class, fantastic. Let's talk about it. Let's get to a solution. But you're not gonna sit here and just only want to talk about it when it's happening with Trump or when it's happening with the Republicans. It's like it's disingenuous because it kind of sounds like you only care about it when it don't work for you. And that's just disingenuous. And I ain't hearing it.
Asked on Fox News recently.
Oh, guys, and make sure you double tap the screen and like the video. Appreciate the support, by the way. And if you have any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements, you can send in $2 and up. I'll go ahead and read it out loud, post it to the top of the chat, and go ahead and engage with it. Appreciate the support, guys. Hey, let's get a conversation going.
Why is Northern Virginia the most affluent place in America? And the implication was that it was because of government spending and government programs, when the reality is it's because that's where the lobbyists live. And that's where all of our government money is going. The instinct to want to look at where our tax dollars are being misdirected is the right one. But should we be skeptical of the fact that the literal richest person in the world and the number 2 and the number 3 and the number 4 are standing there telling you that the problem is
And actually, look, I'm gonna be real with you now. She's saying, well, shouldn't we be afraid of the richest people in the world are on our side? I mean, no. I mean, which side you want them on, Russia's? What, you want them over there shaking hand with Xi Jinping and them? Okay, then. I think you would rather have them over here kumbayaing with us than over there with Russia or China. Like, really, anybody else is going to piss us off. So why not have them here?
programs that are keeping your...
I mean, come on, bro. It's best that they stick with us. You see what Bill Gates did with Africa? Atrocious. Maybe it's just best that we just let them just chill over here.
Elderly loved ones sustained and not the military spending. The Pentagon budget is 3 times the budget of the Department of Education. Our military spending is more than the next 10 military spending of the next 10 countries beneath us combined. Elon Musk is a defense contractor himself, and that is why you're not going to see him talking about cuts to people like him who personally have hundreds of millions of dollars worth of wealth that they've gotten through government contracts. No, they want to throw your grandmother out of the hospital and your family members on.
Now, I do hate the point and say, oh, Elon got government contracts. I'm like, now, can we all remember what Elon does, right? Like, one, not only does he make, cars, electric cars, but he's trying to, bro, he owns space. I mean, he owns a space station, not a space, but a space company or whatever, however you want to call it. The man put rockets into space. Last time I checked, yeah, governments will pay a top dollar if you could do that efficiently and effectively. And he can do that. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, you're damn right. I would approve that we take some taxpayer money out of NASA and take some government contracts away from NASA and give it to our man Elon. Because last time I checked, NASA ain't catching their own damn rockets. Like last time I checked, it sounded like NASA need to catch up to Elon. And if that's the case, shoot, go ahead and give them government contracts. I don't care. As long as we getting our money's worth. And we have not been getting that with NASA. We haven't.
Onto the street.
Okay, Dave,
so
they want to throw
cool,
your family into the street.
It's so boring and it's so thin. Yes, Elon's doing all of this to make more money. He was like, yes, I really need another yacht. I don't even know that he has a yacht. He doesn't. You're the guy who walks around in an old ratty t-shirt.
I'm sorry, but like that man Elon, he don't care. Like the dude could literally, bro, life is free for Elon. He's probably the only person that can literally walk into the yacht shop and like be like, all right, well, I could buy the whole row. It don't matter. Like I'm telling you, he does. Like the fact that y'all think that he cares about money this much. If this man cared about money, let's be real, he wouldn't even be doing space exploration. He wouldn't even be trying to do that. It's just too damn expensive. Why would he be trying it? Like if he really loved the money, he wouldn't have bought X because he'd have seen that as a bad investment if he really loved money. So y'all trying to see him as this money grubbing person, but his actions have not led up to that. It doesn't like equal out to it. We haven't seen it. Because he has plenty of time to prove that he's a money guy. He's a Mr. Krabs ass guy.
That's number one. Number two, let's try it this way. I would say, Brianna, in some sense, you're kind of directionally right in some of this stuff, but let's try it this way. First, as Emily pointed out, no one's talking about bringing down Medicaid and taking out these programs. They're talking about getting the waste and fraud out, which it is obvious. There are 150-year-olds that are getting benefits, 300-year-olds getting benefits.
Let's get
the waste and fraud out.
That is true. It is right there. They released it. That's the problem. It's like y'all are denying the facts. And at this point, it's almost like, hold on. Are y'all the ones actually stealing from the old and disabled? Like, so it's a problem. We look in to try to save some money for these people, and y'all trying to frame it as if we're trying to take it away from them. Now I'm looking at the Democrats, I'm looking at the liberals, like, hey, yo, y'all the one getting a kickback from the Social Security of all people.
To rely
let's
on
try it a
lies
different
like
way.
that to
Let's try it a
manufacture
different way.
consent to cut a popular policy. That's
Hold
a
on.
patent
No, but no
lie.
one's saying cut the policy.
The
They're
children
saying
that
get
are
the
running
waste
Doge,
out of the policy.
David,
But let's try it a different way.
David,
I would be for
well
lowering
documented.
taxes on everybody. I would be for lowering taxes on absolutely everybody, so the government
David,
has less money to
Dave,
waste
but that's
and
not
spend
what's
on
happening.
nonsensical things. I want you to
We're
keep
not-
more of your money.
No, for real. That is actually a good point. We do need to, like, bro, subtract the money that these people are getting. They got too much goddamn money, okay? Too much. $6.8 trillion to F off on what? They got too much money. That's a problem. It's like a body of people have $6.8 trillion to play with on whatever the fuck they honestly want. And the reason why I say whatever the fuck they want is because they've shown that they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. To fund their own agendas, to overthrow the governments that they don't like. It's like they're doing whatever the hell they want with $6.8 trillion. Yeah, maybe we need to scale that down to maybe, I don't know, like a nice little healthy 1 trillion, and maybe they'll spend more responsibly, or it'll be easier to expose the fraud because it's just not such a big ass pool of money.
Do you want me to keep more of my money?
No, because you're.
It's like, bro, 6.8 trillion, bro. That's like, I mean, bro, Elon rich as hell, but he ain't 6.8 trillion dollars rich. That is phenomenal amount. Like, it's unfathomable how much money that is, honestly.
Millionaire, Dave Rubin. I don't think you should keep more of your money, and that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing.
So you want to take more money?
David, you worked
that make
hard.
you.
Now you have to
take
give your money to
Wait a
poor
minute.
people.
What right do you have to take my money and do what you want?
I hate to break it to the
Where's
panel,
that in the Constitution?
but poor people work hard too.
All right, guys, we got about 88 of y'all in here, man. Do me a favor, man. Let's get us to 20 likes. Go ahead and double tap that screen for me to like the video, or hit the 3 dots up there in the corner, man. Let's get the likes up.
Wait a minute. I hate to break it to the panel,
and they should pay less taxes too. I want everyone to pay less taxes.
They've been working just as hard as they've been working since the middle part of the last century.
This is why the left is
They've been working as hard as they've been working. I think it's really fascinating that if someone sticks up for working people in this country, they're called a communist.
I want working people to have more of their money.
You want Dave Rubin to give up more of his
and how
money.
there was a chicken in every pot, and how Americans were so much happier in the 1950s. Well, in the 1950s, the top marginal tax rate was 90% on the top richest voters. That is how you end up getting a country and a social safety net where we have parks and swimming pools and schools and museums and safety and libraries, and the kind of country that we remembered were one family income you could support.
So how much of my money do you need? How much of Piers' money? I know he's not fully an American, but he's probably got more money than me. How much of Piers' money do you want?
The question shouldn't be whether or not.
Joe's like, no. Yeah, nah. Like, I would say this: Pierce make about good 10 mil. How much you want of it? Like, how much you think Pierce should give up of his 10 mil? Like, and they never able to answer the question. It's like, it's kind of funny. Like, well, I don't have nothing against Pierce, so I want him to keep his money. What I have is something against you and Elon, so I don't want y'all to keep y'all money. I think y'all should lose half of what y'all earned. I'm like, God damn. So really, it's picking and choosing which rich people y'all want to low key make pay up. Really? Okay. Bernie Sanders.
Why are you so preoccupied
Bernie
with
Sanders
millionaire money? I'm telling
Bernie
you,
Sanders
David.
logic right
I'm
there.
telling you, Dave, that there are poor and immiserated people in this country who signed up to vote for Donald Trump because they believe that he is right, and I believe he is right about trade policies like NAFTA being unfavorable to the American worker. He is right about that sort of thing. And frankly, Bernie Sanders running on those policies back in 2016 and 2020 is why a lot of people, independent voters, were attracted to him. And he was the #1 candidate with independent voters. And Democrats killing his campaign is exactly why they have the Trump phenomenon right now. But those kinds of policies,
how much more money do you need to get to your utopia? How much? If we took all of Elon's money and all of Bezos's money and all of Piers' money, how much? What do we need?
Canning the economy, intentionally cratering the economy, driving like what happened in Argentina, where 50% of the population was driven into poverty, saying that that's going to be some tough times that people are going to have to endure, when that's endurance that's squarely put on the shoulders of poor and working class people in the country, is a tragedy.
Are you arguing that the economy of Argentina is not booming right now after 5 years of disaster?
Booming for whom? Throwing 50% of your population into poverty and having authoritarian crackdowns on speech and protest to prevent people from articulating their democratic right to rise up. That's exactly what's happening here in America as
I don't even
well.
know what she's
And
talking
people
about.
should be very afraid.
That's not what's happening over there. Actually, I remember their leader is actually being praised right now. He's pretty much done turned the whole economy on his head and been like, "Yo, look, we was down, but now we up now." And shout out. I don't know. It's the guy who pretty much everybody was copying the chainsaw from. Guy running around with the chainsaw talking about we about to cut this stuff up. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, Joe.
Pierce, I'll make one political point. There's a reason why my former Republican colleagues in the House are being told not to do in-person town halls, because Dave and Emily maybe love what's going on, but I think there is a lot of confusion out there and a lot of regular folk, even regular Republicans.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that link posted up for you guys. Members only calling.
When they see headlines like 80 to 100,000 veterans losing their jobs, this is the kind of stuff that's going to hit Trump hard politically if he can't explain what it means.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly reasonable point. I want to change topic, if I may, to Gavin Newsom. And let me start with you, Emily, on this, if I can. Gavin Newsom is now seemed to be on the sort of road to Damascus here, one of the all-time great conversions from Chief Wokey of California into a guy that I never heard any personal pronouns. What? Latinx? I didn't know once, I think, etc., etc. He even now is outraged about trans athletes in women's sport, which I don't remember him being before. I thought before he thought it was a great idea. So are we seeing now a movement by the progressive left in America on the Democrat side very sharply turning back to the center because they realized after that election shellacking that they took that actually the progressive agenda is unelectable now in America?
Pretty much.
Of course. And regarding Newsom specifically, I think it's clear he's trying to make his run for presidency in 28. And he realized that now that the woke wave is kind of dying down and coming to its end, that campaign policy won't work for him anymore. But what's really good about living in a digital...
Honestly, just shows how disingenuous they were. It's like, yo, y'all was really riding with this, knowing damn well you didn't believe in it yourself. Like, y'all was rocking with this as if we thought you was true believers. Then when y'all lose the election, we find out that there's only really a few of y'all that was actually believing in this stuff. Most of y'all were what we call sensible libs. You didn't really go for this whole trans ideology stuff. You didn't go for the whole border BS, but you played along because it was your party, which means I ain't gonna lie, you are not to be trusted. You cannot be trusted.
Digital era is that everything someone says can be fact-checked by their own history and their records. So everything that he said with Charlie Kirk during his podcast has already been debunked by his own words. So he said he's not against transgender. He is against transgenders in sports, but previously we've seen that he's protected men in women's sports. He, backtracked himself on basically half of his policies that in his own Twitter comments now we're holding against him. But the truth of the matter is that it's not just Gavin Newsom. It's a lot of the left-wingers who I would call woke, because I have no problem with you being a Democrat if you're true to your values. But this woke disease, now that Trump ended it, they want to get on the winning path. So if they see that it's not winning, they're totally going to flip-flop all of their policies, lose their credibility, lose their trustworthy reputation just to reinsure that they're going to win. Now, I don't think Newsom stands a chance, especially if he'll run against Vance, but I just find it ironic that suddenly he's doing this complete 180. So in conclusion, when it comes to him, they say you can judge a parent by the way they raise their kids. So let's just equivocate that to governor. You can judge a governor on the way that their state is running. Newsom gets a 0. DeSantis, for example, I'm a big fan of him, will get an A in my book. So I would really urge people, don't listen to Newsom's words. In fact, don't listen to anyone's words. Follow what they do, follow their actions, and follow what they put.
Well, I think that's always a good idea.
That's what I would urge.
Yeah, even if especially with Donald Trump, for example, I would always say focus on what he actually does rather than what he says all day. Joe Walsh, I mean, I want to play a clip. This is of Democrats pretending to be video game characters in a loading screen. With the title at the top of the video, "Pick Your Fighter." Which one would you pick of this lot?
Yo, now is it me? Does anybody else remember the Smash Bros? My AOC. Yeah, this is. I just want to know. Like, what generation was y'all going for with this one? Like mine's, because it was just no way. If you're going for my generation, you failed. Also,
brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
yeah, I'm talking about this lady right here and the one before her. That Jasmine Crocker girl is actually, she's stupid, but she's good looking. Yeah, her. Yeah, stupid, but I ain't gonna lie, good looking. And it is crazy because we do have a lot of good looking black women that are liberal and delusional. But hey, look, a good looking girl can get away with saying a lot of stupid shit. I'm thinking we all know that. We all know that.
I mean, Joe, I didn't think anything could get more pathetic than what I saw in Congress when Trump made his speech the other night in terms of the Democrats' reaction. That video, I mean, the idea you would back any of that lot to fight for you to open a crisp packet is beyond parody. I mean, it's a ludicrous, almost like a parody, actually. You watch it and you assume it's a spoof. It's not, it's real. They think this is exuding an air of powerful women who are going to run the world. No, they're not.
Yeah, Pierce, I completely agree. I wrote a piece just before the election, and you know, I don't like Trump, and I think he attacks the Constitution every day, blah, blah, blah. But I wrote a piece and I said the worst.
I'm about to say something slightly controversial. Okay, look. Democrats. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all should just stop running women. Y'all should stop running women. This should have made y'all sexist. Y'all should be sexist towards any female candidate. You tried Hillary, that failed. Kamala, that failed. Who else? Because it sounds like you're about to go down the female route again. Y'all gonna push for this female presidency, but it's not gonna work. Stop it. Stop pushing these women into and try to make them presidents. I'm sorry. Let it happen naturally. Because sadly, it sounds like the first female president, it will most likely come out of the conservative side.
Thing about the Democrats, if Kamala Harris would win, is the Democrats will not address their fundamental problem. They've been able to run cycle after cycle on Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump is bad, and they've been able to win. That day is done.
Gone.
So now that day is gone. So now Democrats have to actually stand for something. And I think I agree with most people on the panel. They've got to move away from their far left and meet most Americans where they are in the middle. I don't see that happening, though.
No, I don't. I mean, Brianna, that video was just utterly cringe-making. I mean, I don't know who is directing the Democrats, but if you look at, again, the response to Trump's speech with the ridiculous series of things they were doing, the fact that Democrats, so-called caring, compassionate liberals, could sit on their seats when a young 13-year-old boy who'd survived brain cancer after 12 surgeries lives his dream of becoming a Secret Service agent for the day. The idea that a Democrat would make a political protest by staying on their seat for that moment and not applauding, I thought was utterly shameful, but really indicative that they will literally do anything that is anti-Trump, even if it means treating a 13-year-old boy with such incredible disrespect.
Incredible.
Yeah, I think
I mean, how you going to disrespect this young man right here, bro? Let's take a little shout out to this young man, because I was personally offended. Why? Because, well, this is a black young man that has brain cancer, is having his dream realized, and you can't stand for him. And he's once again a American. Now it makes you wonder. It's like, bro, all that, showboating for black people. Oh, you ain't black if you don't vote for Biden, the black communities with the Democratic Party. Like, yeah, that's all for nothing. Huh? I mean, every black liberal should throw their support in question after this. If you have not thrown your support in question after this one, I will be real. You are truly brainwashed. Because if they can honestly disrespect a young black man like this and y'all have nothing to say, but, oh, well, if they don't use him as a prop, well, it was not a prop. We're congratulating a young man for realizing his dream. What's a fucking prop about that? But like I said, though, if you can't see this as disrespectful, then yeah, you're brainwashed. And I'm talking to my black liberals.
Craziest part, because my mom bathed me and my brothers all together, and out of nowhere I locked up, and then my dad was calling my name, and I started going to the slow thing, and he said, "Stop playing with me," and And then I started to act, I ain't gonna lie, I started to act slow. And then as soon as he said that, we was speeding all the way, running lights, going to the hospital. And then next thing you know, I was seizing on the table. They said, "No, we gonna have to go in this brain."
And shout out my man Mark, man, starting us off right with the baller. Well, hold on, actually, shout out Hellbat for starting us off right, but shout out Mark for the baller alert. Man, appreciate the support, Mark. He says, like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. Yes, double tap that screen for me. Let's get more people in on the conversation. And also, if you have any question, comments, jokes, or just want to show some support, send in a super chat. I'll go ahead and read it out loud and post it at the top of the screen like my man Mark. Try to be more like Mark. All right, let's go.
Tonight. Ever since then, I had 13 brain surgeries, and that's how many times my personality has changed. And that's something that you don't hear from a terminally ill child. I had 5 months to live. I'm gonna keep on going until my gas tanks run out. And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's gonna call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad.
I'm sorry, how old is this young man? Yo, how old is this young man? Because this is crazy. Like, to be, I ain't gonna lie, like, yo, kudos to your parents, because they taught you well. You speak properly and everything. Well, like, what? Huh? I'm happy I'm hearing this, but shit, man, we need more young men like you.
Tonight. Ever since then, I had 13 brain surgeries, and that's how many times my personality has changed. And that's something that you don't hear from a terminally ill child. I had 5 months to live. I'm gonna keep on going until my gas tanks run out.
Damn.
And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's gonna call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad.
No, I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure, baby. It say he's the police. No, I'm not sure, baby. I don't want to play. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I want to mess with you. Oh, baby, you can't arrest me. You too cocky.
Damn. It be your own people. It be your own people. But like I said, like, hey, the black community are a bunch of liberals. So of course they have no shame in, degrading their own.
Bruh.
I mean, look, this type of behavior goes way deeper than I can explain into this live right now. We'll just save it for another day. This is
I am
disgusting.
asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Oh, shit. That boy, Secret Service. He's like, now you're going to respect my man's authority, boy. He's like, Secret Service, man, take her. She done. She effed up. Take her to the back. Oh, yeah, I love it. See? You like, what? Y'all can't clap for that? I know I can. Shit, I'm clapping it up right now. My man. Shout out to the young man.
Well, I'm just gonna be honest with you. God didn't put you on this earth to like people. He just put you here to live your life. If you're a Democrat and you're being mean to President Trump, I'm on your bumper.
I'm
Can I call you officer or agent, DJ Daniel, all of the above?
It really don't matter to me. I love women, so I don't care.
You think your friends are gonna be jealous?
Pretty much.
Bro, this kid got too much testosterone, bro. This kid got too much testosterone at 13. Like, what? And he living life? Oh, yeah, bro. This kid got a little mustache and everything. Oh, yeah. I like this kid.
I'm pretty sure my girlfriend gonna be jealous. Cause she ain't gonna be. I say you can't. I'm gonna be like you. I'm gonna be like you gonna have to hit the road jacks. I might look
like
13, but I'm 50. Donald Trump is the best president of the United States.
Welcome back, guys. I wanted to get into this quick clip that's from the Breakfast Club that's been causing.
But yeah, so that's the kid that they just decided to disrespect out of nowhere that they didn't want to stand for. And now you know why. You know why? Because he was a Trump supporter. So it wasn't because they was showboating him. It wasn't because they're trying to make him a prop. It's because the kid's a Trump supporter. And that's how far the hatred goes.
Interesting here is that we're not seeing a a robust response, a substantive response, I think, to Joe Walsh's point, to what's going on right now and the broad discontent among Democrats, obviously, about Donald Trump's policies, because you're right. Democrats don't stand for anything, and they haven't for a really long time. Now, the leftist critique, and again, earlier, the words like far left were used to refer to Gavin Newsom. I want to be clear that he's a mainstream, multimillionaire corporate.
Oh, man, shout out my man droning in the scenery. He says Ratchet Queen Jasmine Crockett. He's on her bumper. Hey, I like it, though. I like it. He said, man, Jasmine, man, I'm on your bumper. Like, anybody was hating on Trump, man, I'm on your bumper. I love it.
Democrat right in the middle of the party. And that's the part of the Democratic Party, the core establishment Democratic Party that has over-relied on identity politics, weaponizing identity politics in various ways, because they don't have anything material, substantive, economic to offer the people of the country. They do exactly what the corporate right does, which is to go back and forth about cultural issues, hoping nobody notices that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, hoping nobody notices that while life expectancies are great for the top 1%, you live 7 years less long than the top 1% if you're in the bottom.
I mean, you can't blame that on, no. You can't really blame that on their wealth. That's more of like personal decisions, healthy habits, and all that good stuff. Can't blame that on wealth. But here's the thing, though. You're right. 60% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. You want to know why? Usually personal decisions, and then it's usually personal decisions that they have to make within a tight economy. Now, whose fault is that, though? Like, really think about that. Really think about whose fault is this, and then think about who you're actually blaming. Like, who's the president the last 4 years? I thought so, but why are we blaming Trump? I have no idea. I just do not understand the logic of blaming Trump when we went through 4 years of Biden and we are experiencing the ramifications of his policies and his financial policies or his economic policies. And we all know that Inflation Reductionary Act wasn't it.
50% of this country. And so as long as they're doing TikTok dances or holding up paddles, or we're talking about wokeness, or the mere 10 trans athletes are in the NCAA, you can convince a lot of people to go to the polls and pull a lever for one side or the other. And 10, 20, 30 years from now, they
I you know it's crazy though. There is people. It's so funny. Like, yo, y'all give rich people too much credit. So you like, hey, do you have to be rich to be healthy? Do you have to be rich to live long? Actually, I'm gonna be real with you. I've heard of more poor people living to 100 than rich people. Like, come on, let's keep it real. Last time you heard of some lady dying of 100, hey, she wasn't rich. I'll tell you that. Usually, I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's like it's kind of your personal choices. That's why I said you can kind of put it outside your health, because our life expectancy all equates around one, how much we exercise, our diet, our health overall, if any pre-lining conditions that we may be born with, those kind of determine that. And just because you're rich, don't mean you just automatically get good health. I mean, trust me, like money can buy a lot, but trust me, good health, there's just some things you can't buy, and good health is one of them.
Wake up and say, what happened to my mortgage? What happened to my life? What happened to my ability to raise a family and have kids? And that's exactly the conversation they want us to be having, instead of focusing on why it is.
Jonah in the senior, he turning up. He says, "Oh, fuck this bitch again. This disingenuous progressive." Hey. Yeah, I do say, man, the black liberal. I mean, look, bro, the black liberals are something else, man. They're a different breed. They're a different breed, man. Especially the black liberal women. Like, bro, look, I love my black women. Even the black liberal women, even though they hate my guts, I love them. But it's like, bro, y'all only hate me because y'all just can't really debate me. Yeah, you just understand that. Y'all don't hate me because of where I stand. You hate me because you can't defend where you stand.
Is that our government, run by corporatists and billionaires, regardless if it's a Democratic government or Republican government, seem to only consistently serve one segment of the population, and it's the very, very rich.
Okay, Dave Rubin, this.
Can I add to that, please?
I'll let Dave. I'll come back to you, Emily. Let Dave just respond to it, because he's been waiting a while. I mean, Dave, this position the Democrats find themselves in it's almost embarrassing, actually, to watch them. They don't seem to have any idea where they need to go. I mean, Newsom, to his credit, seems to have identified that the progressive stuff is just over. but people do not want to hear it. They don't want to see it. They're done with all of it. And he's trying to move, and I don't think it's going to work for him because he's too attached to it. But when you see the behavior of the Democrats right now, they're like a bunch of kids.
No, well, look, quickly on Newsom, because I have not ever held back with this guy, and I very publicly fled California because of Gavin Newsom after I campaigned against him. I mean, I think the guy's basically the Antichrist. He's the devil incarnate, and you don't have to trust me on that. 1 million people have fled California, over 1 million people post-COVID or during or post-COVID, and many of them have ended up where I am in the free state of Florida, or they ended up in Tennessee, or they ended up in Texas, and that is not a coincidence that those are all red Republican states. But look, the Democrats don't know what to do because they went all in on something that was completely fraudulent from day one. Let me address the pronoun thing for a second, because if you had ever believed that, say, the Latin X or the he, she, they, them, Zer, if you had ever believed that any of that was legit or important, well, right now as evil white supremacist Donald Trump is in the White House, you would be doubling down on it because your fight would be more important than ever. But what happened the second Donald Trump took office? AOC magically got her pronouns out of her bio. Pete got his pronouns out of his bio. Gavin's.
They never believed in it. That's what I'm saying. It was like, yo, y'all just showed y'all true colors. It was like all this DI stuff, bro, all this like immigration, pronouns, transgenderism. They never believed in it. They were just going with the flow of their party. Huh.
Pretending he never said Latinx. They're all abandoning the positions because the positions were based on ideology having nothing to do with reality. I assure you, I am here in Miami.
No. This is absolutely hilarious. This comment, I ain't gonna lie, that was very misinformed. Very misinformed. I'm being nice because he literally said Biden literally handed Trump a booming economy. On what? Like inflation was high, bro. The housing market, everybody was complaining about the housing market under Biden. Everybody's playing groceries, gas, energy, all being complained under Biden. What are you talking about? And then guess what? Trump's tariffs, most of them haven't even been enacted yet. So really, what are you talking about? But all right, let's go.
Spend all of my days around Cubans and Venezuelans. If I walked down the street or if I went to Calle Ocho and said, hello, my Latinx friends, I would get a mojito thrown in my face. So nobody believed this. They're abandoning their positions faster than they ushered them in because they're all BS, period.
Yeah, but I mean, Brianna, you can answer it. I would say I lost it with them completely when Sam Smith, the singer, having pretended to be straight, then he comes out as a gay man, then he comes out as, I can't remember, as non-binary, gender fluid or something. And then we had to call him a singular human being who we'd already had to rename several times. We then had to call him they, them. And I thought of him when that ad came out that Trump did that was so successful, which was the...
And shout out to my man Drone in the Scenery says, Democrats cry racist, projector machine. Oh yeah, bro, they're the most racist. They're the most racist. I mean, bro, trust me. As soon as you start disagreeing with a liberal, I mean, you're all types of stupid black person. I mean, you know what? Uncle Tom and all that good stuff, that's not really racist. That's usually like, I guess, I don't even know what I really ought to call it. It's like an insult to another black person, like pretty much saying you're not black enough or you're not down with you're not on code, when apparently when being on code has pretty much been destroying the black community. But you know, they don't get that. They don't get that. Let's go.
Kamala's for they, them. Donald Trump is for you. I thought that was remarkably powerful in its simplicity. Yeah. You cannot look at one person and call them a plural. It is bullshit. Brianna, over to you.
Because I don't think I follow pop music as closely as you do. But to Dave Rubin's point, I think it's worth noting that the questionnaire that was made into an ad that was very effective against Kamala Harris about gender reassignment surgery for trans prisoners
it's the same ad we're talking about.
That was a consequence of the Democratic Party, the same corporate Dems I'm talking about, not leftists like Bernie Sanders, not the so-called.
So you're admitting that there's corporate influence on y'all side as well. And then you have no right to talk about Donald Trump's corporate influences. If you know y'all got your owns. And if you're gonna blame y'all owns, then it's like, what the hell?
far left, which is an economic populist movement, but these identitarian centrists in the Democratic Party trying to take Bernie out in
Uncle Ruckus
2020
Tom.
by trying to get to his left. They couldn't get to his left on economic policy. They refused to back a policy that 49% of Republicans.
You know, if you do want to call me anything, I prefer an Uncle Ruckus. I'll just be real with you. I prefer Uncle Ruckus. Let's take some time to appreciate, well, Uncle Ruckus with.
Oh, yeah. There is powerful niggardry at work here.
You know, when it comes to these Democrats getting the kickback from that, you know, USA.
Guilty. That nigga is guilty.
And then also.
Okay, first of all, ain't nobody talking while I'm talking, so shut the fuck up. My name is Uncle.
Oh, God.
And 88% of Democrats support like Medicare for all because they're private insurance donors, they're healthcare insurance donors, their big pharma donors wouldn't let them back it, but they could try to get to his left on social issues. And they circulated that questionnaire hoping that Bernie, as he did, wouldn't say tick yes to some of the more fringe cultural aspects of it. And ironically, ended up coming back to bite Kamala Harris in the butt. But the core lesson here is this is what moderate centrist establishment people do to distract the public from the fact that they are not delivering on the populist economic policies that people on both sides of the aisle in a bipartisan way actually want. And there is a way that it's worth it for historical reasons to like understand that and talk about it here in this context. But the core takeaway should be, okay, we agree that Gavin Newsom is an empty suit, that he'll change whichever way the wind is going, that these people had no principles.
I mean, here's the thing though, like, lady, you gotta remember, this your party you're talking about. So that was y'all empty suit. So I'm just really looking at her
Really,
like,
nigga?
oh, y'all have corporate Democrats y'all don't trust. Like,
Really, nigga?
they got empty suits politicians who would just go with the wind. And you guys want to talk about us?
Man, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Nobody asked you.
Like, come on now.
It came to the pronoun stuff. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. That is a critique from the left. But what do you do with that? Do you just keep people polarized and fighting with each other? Or do you say, now we realize that we're actually united on these core issues and we're going to make a demand, whether it's of Donald Trump or God forbid if Gavin Newsom becomes president or whomever it is, to actually have our needs met in this country? Nobody on this panel responded to the horrifying trait that you live longer in this country if you are rich than if you were in the bottom 50%, not even poor.
Here's the thing though, in this country, I like how she said that, in this country, because in other countries that people don't live so rich, they actually live longer than us. I mean, no processed foods, they actually exercise out there or actually have to move around a lot. So yeah, in this country, it does seem like the wealthy do seem to, well, or be more healthier in this country, but globally, that's not true. Even in this country, you can still find people who are below the poverty line in great shape. I mean, shoot, hey, go to jail. Yeah, you'll find a lot of them. Like shit.
Well, yeah, but hang on. But Brianna, maybe the reason for that is not an unusual statistic around the world.
He said Lay-Z is accused of exactly what Tate's accused of. He said Jay-Z is accused of exactly what Tate's accused of, but nobody gets hard lines on him. What about Diddy? Diddy been accused of what Tate's been doing for years. Nobody went in on him until now. But some bald-headed dude comes out talking about empowering men and, having free speech and knowing yourself and all that good stuff. And now he's the bad guy. I mean, Jay-Z ain't really give me that much of positive messages, but well, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, back in his old albums, yeah, he did. P. Diddy, well, he was a trash rapper. I never really liked P. Diddy. But Andrew Tate come around, give me some sauce, give me some advice. And he's the child. I mean, he's a trafficker. Bunch of stories been coming out from these guys for, decades. Women coming out for decades about these guys. But he's a human trafficker. Okay. Like I said, man, it all depends who you align with, huh?
World. I mean, where you have rich and poor.
It is America's health outcome. Pierce, this might be
my point is that in the UK, I can guarantee you
who gets socialized healthcare.
I can guarantee you the wealthiest people in the UK live longer than the poorest, right?
Of course they do. But that's not the statistic I'm saying. I specifically said not just the poor people are not living as long. It's the rich people who are living 7 years longer. And we have to ask ourselves why in America we pay more for our health.
Well, we would have to ask the rich people. Like, all right, I can give you an example. I mean, look, if you actually watch how rich people live, they eat good food, they exercise a lot. I mean, Those are two things right there that's gonna put you like above, that's gonna help you live longer than most people. Eating good and exercising. That's just something that rich people, a lot of rich people seem to enjoy. A lot of people on living on the higher side or a higher class of life seem to enjoy good food, healthy eating, and exercising. So when you're doing those things, I mean, no shit. It's kind of like a no-brainer. Well, you're gonna live longer. If poor people practice that stuff, I mean, then they would live longer as well. Just like the poor people in other countries live longer as well, because they gotta exercise, they gotta eat healthier, and they don't have processed foods trying to kill them. Well, I mean, we're not eating processed foods in their everyday their everyday groceries.
Healthcare than in any other similarly situated.
Well, I agree with that.
Situated
Listen,
country
you know,
for
I'm in the
outcomes.
listen. I'm in the UK, where if you fall over
Right.
and break a leg, you get free healthcare, right? If I do that in
Right.
Malibu,
Well,
I have a
still wanna
bloke standing
address-
over me demanding $20,000.
You could go bankrupt.
Yeah, Emily,
exactly.
you wanted to get involved in this.
You know, I keep seeing a reoccurring theme from Brianna that it seems like she wants to wage this war on capitalism. That's what it seems like to me. But I want to point out something, and if you could remove your ego
I want to
and
fight for
restore some
poor and
common
working
sense
class
for a
people,
moment.
Emily. I do want to fight
I understand.
for poor and working class
You want Dave
people.
Rubin to pay more because he's richer.
Yeah.
I got it. Understood. It's fine. That's not
And
my
me.
point. My
I
point
want
is that
people who work
you keep criticizing
40-hour
Donald
weeks to be able
Trump.
to afford
Brianna, I
rent, to be
understand
able to
you
afford
crystal
food,
clear.
to be able to afford
I
housing.
understand you crystal
And I see
clear.
that you are mocking
I
and
got you.
derisive of
Okay.
that reality, and I think the audience hears
No.
that loud and clear.
I mean, who made food more expensive? It was all under Biden. So he's like, I can't complain about the very thing that y'all made happen. Like I said, it was almost disrespectful when they was talking about the $88 billion to transport all these immigrants back. Oh, that's gonna have to come out of taxpayer dollars. I'm like, then why'd y'all make the mess? It's like, bro, why'd y'all make the mess? Like, that makes no freaking sense. Like, the reason why there's so many immigrants who got to deport and use money for it is because of you guys. But now y'all want to complain about the money we got to use to clean up y'all mess? It's disrespect.
No, I think that we're hardworking people
here,
and that we're all self-made and we deserve to enjoy the fruits of our hard work. So do me a favor, let me finish my point. You are very critical of Donald Trump for seeming to want to take advice from one of the most successful people in the world. So let me tell you something. As the owner of a skincare company, when I was starting my company, the first thing I did, and I'm lucky enough to have the resource.
And shout out to my man joining this series. Like, wait, how did Aaliyah die? But Tate, right? I mean, bro, there's so many ways you can get into Aaliyah's death. It is a bit crazy. I'll tell you that right now. If you do want to do it like a PDD breakdown and all that good stuff, I got the perfect videos for it. Trust me. I got the best videos for that.
Sources was go to the billionaires who sold their companies from billions and try to replicate a model of how they've achieved so much of their success. Now, if Donald Trump can have three, let's say Bezos, Zuckerberg, and Musk, self-made, successful billionaires who revolutionized the modern day world that we live in, and he has the privilege to get to learn from them, how ignorant and egotistical would he be to not so graciously accept their advice? You know, you keep criticizing them because they're rich, but they are self-made men. Trump would be insane to not want to include them in an administration and be insane to not receive their advice on how to make our country wealthy again.
All right, Joe, you want to jump in?
If George Soros was standing behind Joe Biden and in his cabinet meetings and directing his policy, you would rightly understand that it was inappropriate for billionaires to be
trying to destroy capitalism in the Western world. That's the difference.
In secret.
Last time I checked, none of you were called Joe apart from the guy on the right.
I don't have to argue with any of you because the audience.
Let Joe have
Pierce,
it.
Just one really quick point. Brianna is right in this. We are living in a populist moment. I think Trump is an evil demagogue populist, but Trump's always recognized the moment. The Democrats have never recognized this moment. I campaigned for 3 months for Kamala Harris every day in a battleground state. And a lot of regular people who only pay attention to politics every now and then, they all told me the same thing. They know Trump's a bad guy, but they said the Democrats are snobs who look down on me. The Democrats got to figure out a way to connect to regular people.
The Democrats turned into the people that they said the Republicans were. I mean, y'all turned into the rich, snooty bastards who are low-key racist. Yes, y'all turned into who you said the conservatives were. That's who you guys turned into. It's so crazy. It's kind of like how black people turned into the racists that we say white people are. It sucks, ain't it? It sucks. But It is
again.
what it is.
That's their biggest problem.
Okay, Dave, I want to just, before we finish, just mention the fact that you came after me big time on X this week in a furious onslaught. And Brianna, to my astonishment, leapt to my defense.
I said the word respectfully,
Well,
Piers.
Brianna leapt to my defense, actually, on X. So let's play this out on my show where I have more control over your outburst. No, to be serious, it was an interesting point, really, because the point I was making is about Israel cutting off the power into Gaza. I actually did not know the full answer to the questions I was raising, is the honest truth, which is, well, how much power in Gaza comes from Israel? It turns out more than 50% does. It also turns out that pretty much from the start of the war, so October 2023, the power has been cut by 90%. And my question when they cut the rest off this week was, if you think about how this